What's up, Tech Twins? Ray here with Twin Folk Tech, and today I want to talk a little bit about my Sony obsession. So I've been going Sony crazy lately. If you could not tell, picked up the XM5s, picked up the Xperia 1 Mark III, and then I also picked up the Xperia 5 Mark III. So I just was like, I was in love with the Xperia 1 Mark III, but I was also like looking for something a little bit more compact, and I wanted to see how Sony did compact. And you still have with this device the 21 by 9 body style, but this is going to be a I want to say a 6.1 inch. Let's see, I got the specs pulled up here. I don't want to just be a spec reader, but it is what it is. So we got the 6.1 inch body, and on the Xperia 1, you're going to have the 6.5 inches. So this 6.1 inches makes a heck of a difference. I mean, so if you look at these phones, I mean, it's pretty stinking cool. Um, I mean, I don't know. It's probably harder to show on camera the true difference of how it feels, but it feels so freaking crazy to have, all the power basically of an Xperia phone in this smaller form factor. Because you still are going to have your toolless SIM tray, you're still going to have your headphone jack, you're still going to have your Snapdragon 888 processor in here, your SoC in here for this device. You're still going to have your triple 12 megapixel lens setup, except you're going to have a time of flight sensor on here, where you're not going to have that on the Xperia Mark 5. You're not going to have your wireless charging. You're not going to have wireless power share on here. But I really want to say that this device is everything you need and nothing you don't. For me, I don't even use wireless charging. It's a hugely inefficient way to charge a phone. It wastes more energy and it just takes for freaking ever. So I personally don't use wireless charging. Wireless power share is kind of cool, but by the same token, I like to, keep my devices as charged up as I possibly can. Not saying I charge them frequently, but once I do take them off the charger, I don't want them dying for any reason. So arbitrarily, like I need to charge my earbuds, so let me waste power from my phone so I can charge my earbuds. I charge my earbuds wired. I charge my phone wired. I just don't really ever use wireless charging in my life or in any kind of workflow. So I think, again, this device gives you everything you need and nothing you don't. You're going to still have all of the awesome and excellent Xperia features, without that wireless charging, without the time of flight sensor, without the wireless power share, and I mean, it's just going to be a smaller form factor. You're, of course, not going to get the same 4K panel. You're gonna get a 1080p panel. Would have liked to have seen 1440p. I feel like that would have made a little bit more sense on this device, since it's a step down from your Xperia 1, because they do have the Xperia 10 as well. I'm not gonna get that device, but that device has a slower SoC. I think it's like a Snapdragon 695 on the Xperia 10, and it doesn't have 120 hertz, but this does still retain the 120 hertz on the Xperia 5 Mark III, which is pretty cool. But I think that since the Xperia 10 exists, I think that they should have done 4K, 1440p, so the QHD, and then full HD on the 10. But they did decide to just do 10 1080p on both the 5 and the 10, but so whatever. 1080p is enough, and the 120 hertz on here is buttery, silky smooth, and you still basically get like a lot of the same features on this device that you get on here. So if you are interested in a Sony phone, and you're also interested in compact phones like me, because basically ever since the Pixel 4a, and ever since I started using iPhones, pretty much I've always been interested in more compact devices. But if you're interested in those sorts of things, then I think the Xperia 5 Mark III is the one for you. You got your headphone jack, you got your expandable storage, you got a beautiful, beautiful panel on here with 120 hertz. I mean, what more could you really ask for? And then you still have all of those awesome Sony camera features like you would get on the Xperia 1. So all in all, I want to say that this gets a solid recommendation for me. I can't really find any complaints. Like the same gripes I have on the Xperia 1 for the most part, like the slightly, not iPhone level speaker output, or I guess just like the same thing about having a little bit more or less intuitive of a basic camera mode. Those things still stand on here. But I just like this small form factor a lot better than this. So I would sacrifice, yes, I would sacrifice the 4K screen for a little bit more compactability and easily pocketable device. So yeah. Oh, your other difference, obviously, you're gonna have your glass, glass back on here, and it's gonna pick up a lot of fingerprints. So you can see this is a fingerprint magnet, but of course on here you're gonna have that frosted back. So it does still pick up some fingerprints and smudges, but nowhere near as easy as this device does. But all in all, I definitely take this smaller form factor, sacrifice the 4K screen, just to get this smaller form factor. I absolutely love it. So yeah, so that's that. Those are my thoughts on the Xperia 5 Mark III in comparison to the Xperia 1 Mark III, and I'm excited to see what Sony has to offer with the Xperia 1 Mark IV. Everything that I've seen, I've been really impressed by, so I'm excited to get my hands on that, hopefully a little bit later this year. And then also, they have not announced an Xperia 5 Mark IV from what I've seen, but this is still, again, a solid device. This came out even later than the Mark I did last year, so this came out in August, the Mark I, and then the Mark 5, not the Mark 1, excuse me, the Xperia 1 came out in August, and then the Xperia 5 came out in October, I want to say. So maybe they're going to do that same staggered release like they did last year and just put out the 5 a little bit later than they're putting out the 1. But they did already announce the 10 Mark IV. So I think that's going to drop at the same time that the 1 Mark IV drops. So, a little weird, but hopefully they still put out a 5 because this is a banger of a device. Absolute banger. And damn it, you can't beat that fingerprint sensor in the power button. Can't be beat. But all right, be good to each other. Be good to your tech. Stay twinning. Peace.